This here is from Rockfeed, and you probably know Marilyn Manson had a little controversy where he was accused of doing some bad things to Evan Rachel Wood, an actress from Game of Thrones, and a bunch of their friends and buddies who they knew. Turns out the court stuff kind of petered out. I don't hear much about it. I think it was pretty much settled through and through. But, fans of Evan Rachel Wood and the cause and the message tried to boycott and cancel Marilyn Manson. Well, in the States, he's not doing great, but not so bad. However, in Mexico, apparently, 200,000 fans showed up for a show. Let's hear some details. That's kind of a lot, by the way. I mean, especially for Manson, who is not like Taylor Swift fame, Billy Joel fame. He's Marilyn Manson, and that's a lot of people.
Despite significant pushback and protests from various groups, Marilyn Manson took the stage in San Luis Potosi, Mexico on Sunday to perform for a massive free festival. The controversial rocker's headline show at the annual state fair drew an enormous crowd, with organizers reporting 205,000 people in attendance. Wow. Now, the decision to book Manson came directly from the state's governor, Ricardo Gallardo Cardona, who publicly defended the move as a defense of freedom of expression and an act of cultural justice in the face of widespread criticism. The whole situation is very interesting. On one side, you have religious groups calling Manson's performance inappropriate for a family-friendly festival.
Well, you've always had those religious groups going after Manson, saying he's the devil and this and that. That's nothing new. Kind of expected, to be honest.
And on the other, you have the governor of the state, a man known for his love of regional Mexican music, championing one of rock's most controversial figures. The pushback was intense, but the show went on, creating this unique scene of a government-endorsed Marilyn Manson concert that turned into one of the biggest shows of his recent career. But the real story here isn't just that the concert happened, it's why it happened. Why would a Mexican governor go to bat for Marilyn Manson, given all of the controversy that surrounded him in recent years?
That's a good question. I'll try to answer it. Maybe that governor, who is just a guy at the end of the day, just some dude, happens to think Marilyn Manson got the short end of the stick, and people blame him for their problems and accuse him and try to suck money out of him because he looks nasty and evil and things like that. So he figured, you know what? I'm going to let him play the show. Let's see what happens. My silly guess.
So the answer is a lot more complicated than you'd think, and it has roots in a cultural battle that started in the exact same state decades ago. Before the show even began, the tension was obvious. Protesters were demanding the concert be canceled, something we've seen elsewhere. And one conservative association gathered about 6,000 signatures on a petition to get the event shut down. In a more dramatic move, a cow's head was reportedly placed in front of the Metropolitan Cathedral of San Luis Potosi, a clear and symbolic act of protest against Manson's performance. But the fans showed up in force. Hours before the show, massive lines of people, many dressed in black with makeup mimicking Manson's, snaked around the entrances to the venue. The crowd wasn't just filled with locals either. People traveled from all throughout Mexico and even...
You know what? I like Mexico, but I like it even more now.
In other parts of Latin America for this free event. By the time Manson hit the stage, the place was packed with a frenzied audience that cheered for hits like The Beautiful People and Sweet Dreams. It begs the question, how can a performance be supposedly so controversial, yet so massively popular at the same time? To understand what happened here, we have to go back 35 years to 1989. Another legendary band, Black Sabbath.
I'm not sure we got to go that far back, actually. I think it's pretty simple. Manson's pretty unique. He plays some good music. A lot of people like it. They want to hear it and don't give a shit about what goes on behind the scenes, what he's accused of, or any of that crap. It's just a cool show a lot of people want to see. Why can't we just leave it there?
was scheduled to play in San Luis Potosi, but local authorities blocked the concert at the last minute, closing the stadium and leaving thousands of fans outside. The official reason given at the time was that the band promoted Satanism and anti-values. That event left a scar on the state's cultural scene, and it's the key to understanding the decision-making of the current governor, Ricardo Gallardo Cardona.
Okay, so I guess I got some signals mixed up a little bit. It wasn't all these Evan Rachel Wood fans and things trying to boycott him, which actually they are also. It's also the religious groups. But that's the history of Manson. It's pretty much like every group from everywhere tries to cancel him unless you're just someone who kind of likes the music, which is like 99% of the people who call themselves fans or whatever.
Charismatic 44-year-old politician who is known for his love of traditional Mexican music, which makes his choice to book Manson seem even more out of left field. But in his view, this wasn't just about booking a massive rock band. It was about correcting a historical wrong. In a new interview with Billboard Espanol, the governor laid out his reasoning. He said he booked Manson as a defense of freedom of expression and with the goal of helping his state overcome a cultural lag that has kept major international acts away for decades.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I guess the one lesson I learned is that when someone tries to cancel you, if they fail, it could backfire and it could work in your favor. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Governor. I'm sure some Evan Rachel Wood fans are not very happy right now. Although I'm not sure how many there are left because she's been doing absolutely nothing. All right, now it's your turn. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you don't subscribe here, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.